Good afternoon, Flosstube. My name is Mandy. Welcome to my channel, all about cross stitch. Today is Friday, April 25th. My pronouns are she, her. It's been a couple of weeks, but I've been stitching. Been a couple of weeks since I last filmed. I normally film my Flosstubes on my lunch break. On Friday, like on the Fridays when I film, it's normally on my lunch break. It is 6 p.m. Now. I didn't take a lunch today. I've had yesterday off work, went in a little late today. I had to take my mom to a couple different appointments. She's good. Look good there. But it just set off my schedule being different, so would not taking a lunch today. Just kind of threw things off, but I definitely am trying to stay on schedule, so I wanted to just go ahead and hop on here tonight and do a little filming and share what I've been working on the last couple weeks, but definitely feeling a little thrown off at the moment. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see. Maybe stick around, all that good stuff. If you're a returning viewer, greatly appreciate your ongoing support and all that fun stuff. So I've got some fun stuff to share. A few whips, a finish, like a really old finish, a start and a finish, happy mail, tiny bit of haul, artist trading card talk, all kinds of fun stuff. Still dealing with this nagging cough. It's not a constant cough or anything, it's just something gets me irritated, you know. I breathe wrong. I, choke on something, like eating something gets caught in your throat type of thing. Something sets me off and I just can't stop coughing. I don't know. Should probably do something about that one of these days. So hopefully that won't be too bad. Artist trading cards. Let's talk. A couple different things going on here. I received some in the mail. This particular trade was hosted from Laura, Stitching by the Shore. Wonderful channel. Absolutely adore Laura. The last one that she hosted was Where You're From. So if you have been around for a little bit, you've watched my previous videos, I stitched a couple of Michigan related cards. One was a robin theme, so our state bird is the robin, and so I stitched a little robin. Found absolutely the perfect little nest sticker. Basic finish of pretty paper, that sticker of the nest, and the bird sitting on the edge of the nest. I thought it was so cute. And then another one was cherries. So Michigan is known for a large cherry supply, I guess. And so I found an alphabet in a cross stitch book that did that with some cherries. So the ones that I received today, well, I got them one day this week. So this one was stitched by Sally. She is from Eugene, Oregon, and she stitched the Oregon, University of Oregon's logo. Little foam football. Sally says she lives across the street from the University of Oregon's football stadium. Also an ardent fan of women's basketball. So I thought that was so cute. Very representative. Like, I know kind of what their writing of their school looks like or something. So as soon as Laura did a show and tell of everything, as soon as she held it up, I recognized that it was from Oregon. And then this one was stitched from Annette in South Dakota. And all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of fun facts written on the back. So thank you, Laura, for hosting. I absolutely adore your swaps and can't wait for the next theme. And so thank you to Sally and Annette. Have no clue if they watch my channel. Meant to post about receiving those in the Facebook group and I forgot. So that was the cards from Laura's swap. This next one I haven't made it into the card yet, so next time probably gonna end up making this tomorrow, so it's gonna go out by the end of April. So I'll probably end up just showing it picture of what I made at the end. But I've got the stitching part done, and so I had to share. We have Mario. He's so cute. I love him. So the theme of this next swap is, well, it's hosted from Heather Link is my homeboy. She's got a separate Instagram handle, Stitchy Swap and ATC, and it's underscores between like each of the words. So Heather has a theme for this one is video games, and I was going to do another Pac-Man because I did the gosh, last year I think it was, for a theme of the year you were born. I found that Ms. Pac-Man was released in the year I was born, so I did a Pac-Man. Well, it was Ms. Pac-Man. So I thought about doing that again because one chart, why not? But then I got to thinking, like, I want to switch things up a little bit, and I absolutely loved Super Mario Brothers. Awful at it, but I still adore it. And so I just went into Etsy, found something that I knew was going to be small, and stitched them up. The pattern, I forget now what Etsy shop it came from, but it has Princess Peach, Mario, and then I think it was Luigi, and then like around it was a bunch of other symbols of probably like the mushrooms, the like free life, or the one that, you know, makes him grow. I don't even remember now what all, like all kinds of different little symbols, insignias and such related to the game. So I was initially going to do stitch Princess Peach, but her facial expression, I don't know if she's winking, but there's something, it looked weird. I'm like, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So we went with Mario, and he's holding out, you know, peace sign. So he's so cute. Yeah. I just stitched this on a scrap piece of Color and Cotton Aida. It's actually from a whip that I have UFO'd, repurposed the fabric that I could, with the intent of restarting that particular project. But there's my little Mario. Why do I keep stitching the perfect little ATCs that I then want to keep myself? That's the hardest part. Moving on. Stitches. Come here. People want to see you. Come here. I know it has been weeks since she has been on a video, and you absolutely are due a Stitches sighting, but she's being a cat and doing her own thing. Lovebird pieces though. I finally got this thing finished. I love this piece. It's so pretty, but it's finally finished. It lingered on my whip list for so small. For being such a small piece, it lingered longer than it should have. Got a Country Cottage Needleworks. Springbirds. I was gifted this from Laura 3 years ago. Again, Stitching by the Shore. She passed the pattern on to me, and I remember starting it, and it sat untouched longer than it should have. But we're done. Modified version. I think I talked about it last video that it's got a top and a bottom border, the checkerboard and the leaves and all of that. I debated cutting out the checkerboard, moving the like vines in, and then it kind of got to the point where I'm done. It's done. So I love it the way it is. It's probably just gonna go into a scrapbook if I ever decide to finish anything in my scrapbook again. So I didn't really need borders. It is stitched on a piece of, I think it's 16 count. Color and Cotton grab bag, so I have no clue what color name it is. And I converted this all to overdyed threads. So Color and Cotton mainly, I think, Classic Colorworks, a couple. I know there was a couple gassed, so Gentle Art specialty threads that were special edition ones. So like they were no name type of thing. So the pots, so the darker and a lighter, those were two different limited edition that I've had in my stash for many years that were unnamed. So when I wrote down what symbols were for what colors and that, I just wrote down, like, for this symbol it's going to be the lighter version, for this symbol the darker version. So but I love it. The orange I know for sure is Bittersweet, one of my absolute favorites. I've got them right here. Classic Colorworks, I believe. That's not classic. That's guessed. I can't even read the labels. It's been a week. Anyways, I didn't even think about getting all of these colors out, but we can share them. I used one DMC for the green just because I did not have a good good overdyed in a solid green. So here's the colors. Didn't even have to get them out, I guess, but they're pretty. Like I said, I'm glad to have it done. Spring birds. Speaking of birds, you may be hearing them. Luckily I was able to hold off filming for a few because there were some crows out there making some noise. But right now there's just a talkative chickadee or something out there, who knows what it is, that I'm sure you're hearing the chirping. I was on a Zoom call years ago. It's been a few years now. And someone spoke up and said, does someone have a bird? It's because I have my patio door open all the time when it's nice weather out, and it's been beautiful here in Michigan the last couple of days. And so I've got the patio door open, and somehow it picks up on the very talkative birds that are right outside. Next whip, talk about another whip that needs to get done. This is from the Cross Stitch for the Soul Emma Congdon book. When I write it down in my notes, because Emma Congdon doesn't name her projects out of these books, but I just write it down as when it rains. So when it rains, look for stars. No. Trying to read it backwards, and yet I know the saying. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. Have I mentioned it's been a week? Oh my goodness. Oh, it looks so good. I love this piece so much. 16 count, color and cotton, Ozark. I have no clue if the material is still available. Goodness, my throat. This is a 2022 project whip on my... I started this in 2022 and it needs to get done. So when I picked it up, I had a little bit of dark started, so I was working here. I don't remember if I had... Seems like I had started the A maybe, so I color completed as I went across the 4 letters rather. And oh, it just looks so good. I should have taken a picture before doing the like making it 3D type of thing, because the after effect, it's not backstitch, but you think of the concept of what backstitch does to a project and just gives it that final, was exactly what those words needed. Well, letters. Not need, I mean, it set it off to a T. Called for DMC. There's a couple minor color changes that I've had to make in terms of like this pretty line here. Had to change the shade of purple just because it was blending in with my fabric too much. Still have the excuse me, a thread hanging because I do plan on getting back to this. I posted a picture of this the other day on Instagram, and on my stories, and Michelle Bendy and I were chatting at one point about it, and she's like, so when do you think you're gonna get it done? If I stick with it, maybe a couple weeks, because now I just have to find or finish, look for, and then stars, and then all of the little doodads and swirlies and all that good stuff. So there's definitely a lot of work to go, but I want to see this one finished. Not only to have it off of my wish list, but I want to have it framed and hanging somewhere. Stitches, come here. Are you being camera shy? Pardon my cough. Oh. Stitchy bye. Yes, I have all kinds of nicknames for her. Come here. She's coming so close. Stitches. And then she's gonna sit. Moving on. I think I've shown this recently. This is from the 2023. No, because this is the 2027 issue that I project that I even talk about a project that needs to be finished. This is my oldest whip, period. Bottom line, oldest project. It needs to be done. Bergamo Borders from Seba Designs, published in the 2027. Golly, 2017. Why are words hard? Just cross stitch. August of 2017. That's the cover of what it looks magazine it's in. Goodness. We are getting there. Oh boy, are we getting there. So I anticipate this is probably going to be done before the last one that I just showed, the When It Rains, because all I have left to do, famous last words, finish out one last little repeats, and then this band gets repeated again. I think the colors may be opposite or something, but basically that band goes here again. Pretty sure I have enough that I don't even have to move the Q-snap one more time. This thing's not coming off of a Q-snap until I get it done. Famous last words. Again. But that's my intent. This has been my lunchtime stitch though, and it's been kind of addictive. So I work from home. I get a half an hour break, and then I get an hour lunch. Multiple days this week and last week, for both lunch and my break, I moved over to the couch and I worked on this baby. And I had every intention of looking where I was at on this band on my last video, because I feel like I've gotten so much progress on it. There's going to be some red and blue added in somewhere around here. I don't even remember now where it goes. So it definitely have a little bit more work than just, I guess, this bit. It's not going to be full coverage. It is nowhere near full coverage like this. It's just little bits and pieces. So the corners of the triangles, and then like little bits and pieces right in there, and top and bottom. And then, like I said, that braid. And then we're gonna see a finish on this. So I'm hoping, what would be awesome is next video, if I could have this thing finished. That's not gonna happen. I'm not putting that out there though. This band took a lot of time. What I've really been enjoying throughout this entire project is doing the black first, and then coming through with either the black or the red, blue or the red, maybe, and finishing, color completing each individual band. So yeah, I would like to have this band done and a good bit of going on this last band for my next video, maybe by the end of May. That'd be exciting. This one needs to be finished, I know that much. Stitches. Come here. I keep trying to get her over here because I know so many people want to see her. my last project. Anyone want to guess what it is? Siopa? I don't think there's been a video yet this year that you haven't seen this, because it's my focus on a finished piece. And if you haven't seen it, there was probably a problem that I didn't. Artwork is from Elizabeth Welker, charted from Heaven and Earth. Like I said, it is my focus on a finish for this year. Exciting, exciting milestone this week. 2 of them. Well, one exciting, a second one that I got excited about, but here we go. I officially hit 50%. I am at 50.85%. This page has taken me a little while too. I need to get it done, but I'm almost there. Got some other random stitches, like those little ninja stitches here, but then otherwise, page ends right around here. I've gone a little bit just finishing up threads, or man, it looks good. Where, you know, I don't want to, I'm feathering into the other page bits and pieces here as I go. Looking at it through the camera, oh, it's what caught my eye when I said, man, that looks good, is these lighter blue highlighting marks here. Was what really caught my eye that time. Man, I love this piece. 16 count white Aida, 2 strands, full cross is how I'm doing this full coverage. I am stitching this for my mom. She knows about it, it's hers, she picked it. But yes, definitely exciting to have that one at 50% finally. Yeah, that one I definitely would like to say that I can have a page finish within the next 2 weeks. If not, there's a problem. Just because it's such a focus piece, that why couldn't I get that little bit finished? I doubt it's going to be this weekend. Could be though. We shall see. Okay, so that is all I have to share in terms of projects that I have been working on the past couple weeks. Start, finish, fully, well, not fully finished, but, you know, finish of an old project, all that good stuff. One tiny piece of haul. This was my the Stitch Me fabric of the month. It'd be for April, so I just got it this week. If you haven't gotten yours yet, I get the all color. And if you don't want to see it, you may want to look away, because I am going to show it. I absolutely fell in love with this piece. Just when I get it in the mail, I usually just, you know, pull it out of the mailer, and then I don't pull it out of the actual plastic to see the whole piece until I'm usually getting ready to film. I fell in love with this piece just seeing how it was folded up. I opened it up just getting ready to film. I need to find something to stitch on this piece as one solid project. Like one project that's gonna fit the entire piece. Okay, it's called Wild Bouquet. So this is what I saw when I first opened it up. It may not be quite, it looks a little on the neon side. It's not that stark, I guess. Wait, just you wait. Bam. Oh my gosh, this thing is absolutely stunning. That's a good view of it right there. So a little bit of yellow into some slight green and some purple. I don't know what needs to go on this, but I need something. You can already see my mind is whirring. I need something to go, something good. I don't want to cut that thing up. I want something stunning. So that is my haul. All right, if you were not wanting to see, so you looked away, you can look back. Pardon me. Happy Mail. I was the recipient, I was so excited. Miriam from Marumi Designs had a giveaway on her Flosstube recently. Pretty sure it was her last Flosstube. And then I don't think she's filmed since she like put this giveaway out there. But then she let me know that I won and I've already received it. So I got this thank you card and a needle minder. I'm pretty sure I have this needle minder somewhere, but it's a black cat. I will take it in. All the black cats. Every stitch you make, every skein you take, every strand you break, I'll be watching you. So, I love it. So, Miriam has got this amazing project, and oh, this thing is just, it's perfect. In celebration, I think, of a big milestone birthday for her, she has been gathering up all kinds of projects where there's like some kind of motif, there's a portion of the pattern that she wanted to stitch out of the pattern but necessarily didn't want to do the entire project. She's making her own spot sampler. I know it's a stitch along, spot your number Sal, I think it is. And so in celebration of her milestone birthday, she's selecting motifs for whatever that number is and making a beautiful project. So combining stuff. And then she did a giveaway for the handful of patterns that she had already done at that point. And I was the lucky recipient. And there's some good stuff in here. Oh, there's some good stuff. Summer House Stitchworks, Fragments in Time 2018. Which is number 8, I guess. So I've had a thing for stitching all the birds, so perfect. Mislaid Pages, Sail Away. I want to say this was from Flosstube at C24. Yep, that's hashtag on the back. So let's sail away. Flosstube at C. I'm not sure if this has been released to the public yet. You can always look at mislaidpages.com. Trying to read the logo. Primitive Betties. I don't know that I've heard of them outside of this. It is called Pure and Pleasant. So see the writing of that? I could not read. I could read primitives, but I couldn't read, so luckily it's on the back. Primitive Betties. Speaking of primitive, I don't know if you know this, I don't know if you care, but we're gonna spread the word. There's a couple that I have my eye on, but they haven't. So a lot of people's unicorn charts have been primitive needle, like the primitive needle that the original designer had passed away in a car accident a handful of years ago, and the family hadn't been interested in, keeping the charts published or anything of that nature. So these charts have been so highly sought after that eBay, people are selling them for hundreds of dollars and such. Go check out The Primitive Needle on Instagram. The Primitive Needle, all one word. The daughter of the designer is digitizing those patterns. So they are going to be available for sale, PDF, I'm assuming, from their website. That was big news. Probably old news at this point since I last filmed. But I know there's a couple. I'm not big on the primitive stitching, by and large, is not my style of stitching. If you see what I stitch, primitive usually isn't my style. It's beautiful. Just, have you seen the stuff that I like to stitch? No bashing primitive stitching at all. It's just, it has not been my go-to. But I know there's a couple of, I am Halloween stitcher by and large. There are so many Halloween stitches out there that I want to stitch. So I've had my eye on a few of these Halloween related charts, to the point where I can't say that they're truly unicorn per se in terms of I'm going to do what I can to locate these. I have no eBay searches. I don't even know names of anything in particular, but I can picture a few of them that it's like, if I could get my hands on one, sure, cool, great. If not, not the end of the world at this point. But I got excited when I saw that that popped up. I think probably somebody shared it to Instagram stories and went and watched. I forget now the gal's name, but she's confirmed, you know, she's the daughter of the original designer, where she's like, what's really sad is that she had to make videos showing like original models, and I forget, I think she had a box of like previously printed charts and such saying, hey, I'm legit, this is who I am, this is why I'm doing this. It's sad, but also probably a good thing, just because of the fact that, you know, those charts are so hard to get a hold of that if you suddenly start hearing about people stitching a PDF, that you know that that could be problematic. But how exciting is it that the daughter is now interested in making sure that that artwork gets to live on, because, you know, if you know Flosstubers that are obsessed with those charts, you know there's going to be people that are going to make sure to get their hands on charts to, you know, keep stitching. And, you know, obviously you can't share, you shouldn't be sharing PDFs, but it's just going to make, I think, those things so much easier to be able to, you know, people to keep that artwork going. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, squirrel. So this is pretty. I guess pure and pleasant. I want to say maybe Miriam added that flower motif, but I don't quote me on that. A few years ago, or a couple of years ago, I don't remember when it was. Well, it says right here, 2022. So this past market, they did the Night Garden cross stitch the rainbow, where you got like one thread palette and a whole bunch of designers created stuff to use those particular palettes. I bought the autumn garden palette floss I would have bought it in 2022. I haven't stitched a single thing out of it, but Miriam passed on, mum's the word, Pixel Pixie. And I did not have this chart already, so the fact that, you know, I've got the floss but didn't have the chart, so it was perfect. And then the last one. So the chart name, I think, is called A Female Worth, and no, that would be the designer. The chart is called The Shaker Peg Clock. That's what the whole chart looks like, but it's these Quaker motifs that are just so pretty. I love that one right there. So beautiful, beautiful ones. So, in fact, I was thinking recently that I've got a bunch of the, well, it would be the Moo the Merrier, speaking of cross stitch the rainbow, sulky, that I need to do something more. Those would be good for that. We'll see. I have no specific plans of when I'm going to be starting any of those at the moment, but they're in my stash now and I'm excited. So huge thank you to Miriam for selecting me for the giveaway. Looks like Stitches is quite comfortable, that I'm not gonna be able to get her to come over here. I got her a kicker, I guess it's called. Looks like that's actually what she's kind of curled up against. So I gave it to her last Saturday. Goodness, that girl was flying high. It's filled with catnip, and when I opened up the package, it was so strong and smelling of something. Good stuff. I mean, it was, it's all cat friendly stuff, but so Stitches just laid there for a while licking on this thing, and at one point I looked over and the pupils were just gigantic. Guess what? You gotta say hi to your friends. There she says. Say hi. So this is Stitches. She smells like that toy that I was just talking about, so she was laying on it. Can you say hi? It's that voice, and it was the voice that I say she had me at meow, because it was the voice that had me, that I had to take her home with me. Okay. She will crawl up into my lap if I'm sitting on the couch or something, not stitching at the moment. Like earlier, I took a break, just was sitting on the couch, just playing on my phone, and she very quickly crawled up into my lap and just stretched out. But it's when I grab a hold of her that she's like, no, let me down. But it has been so long since I know that, since there's been a sighting of her, that I had to snag her as soon as I could, so. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for stitching. Personal, not a whole lot. Like I said, I had to take my mom to get an eye procedure. She's doing good. I got approved for a new dishwasher. You know you are an adult when you get excited about new appliances. So I live in an apartment complex. I rent. I don't have to buy these things on my own. My rent pays for it. I pay enough in rent. So I, gosh, it was just before I went to my little stitching retreat that I finally called and like, hey, can you do something about just getting me a replacement? I have lived in this apartment for 12 years now. Officially, it's been 12 years, a couple weeks ago. That machine was not brand new when I moved in, so who knows how old that thing is. It's been really loud. When I open the door to load or unload, it just creaks worse than, you know, rusty gate. It's now getting to the point where it's just not washing everything. I put a glass in, well, you know, loaded things up, but after running it, a glass, you know, pulled out, was putting things away. And I drank a lot of iced coffee. And when I say iced coffee, I'm talking International Delights, like mocha. I know it's more milk than it is coffee, but hey, it's my obsession. So it's, you know, basically milk, with some, you know, coffee flavoring added to it. And, you know, after finishing a glass, I set it on the counter for a couple days, you know, whatever. And so it had a little bit of a ring inside of it. After washing out of the dishwasher, that ring was still there. Like, I shouldn't have to wash a dish to put it in the dishwasher to be washed. It's not like I put in, you know, baked on cheese from a casserole dish or something. Yeah. So nothing came of it. They were saying, well, management, you know, like everything else, they're being stingy, and no, we're not doing those kind of things right now. So that's been almost 2 months ago. And then last week, maybe, I was out and about on my lunch break, and I thought, you know what, let me just go stop in face to face. Like, hey, I have lived here 12 years now. I have not once been late on my rent. Like, I'm a good tenant. Can you help a girl out here? Well, we'll see what we can do. You know, yeah, they're being, you know, they're really not doing a whole lot of these right now, but I'll see what I can do for you. She called me Tuesday. You've been approved. We got one on order for you. Yes, I got so excited. Wednesday, maintenance guy came by, says, hey, we're ready to get, you know, it's come in. Let's get you scheduled. Can we come tomorrow? Yesterday. Normally I have no problem not being here. They can come in. That's kind of a big job. I don't want Stitches loves to run out this door. Right here is my front door. As soon as I open the door just to hop out and grab my mail or something, Stitches wants to book it down the hallway. I don't want them to have to deal with it. Knowing her, she probably would run and hide in my bedroom, but I'd rather just not take the chances. You know, trying to haul out the old, get the new in. They're not going to be conscious about making sure the door stays closed. Like, I want to be here. Not to mention the fact that I'm excited about getting a new appliance. I want to be here. So I'm like, can we do it another day? I'm not gonna be home. So having on, you know, back and forth about, okay, well, what about this day? Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, we're getting a new dishwasher. So I'm excited for that. Also Tuesday, I have an eye appointment. I've been needing this. Biggest thing that it is that I've noticed is stitching has been a little bit of an issue. And more so the issue has been while I'm sitting here stitching, looking up at the TV to watch Jeopardy. You know, trying to read the screen. That's where I've really been noticing an issue. It's a little late, doesn't really matter, but I do have one more stitching that I forgot to share. So this is what I'm doing for my little tail end project. I know other people have talked about doing them. Like other people, Michelle, Megan from the Long Distance Stitchers, I'm not even sure who else, is actually, you know, when they finish a project, there's no more colors that from a, you know, that project that needs to go in, but they still have a little bit of length. Rather than putting on a card, they put it in a different project. I grabbed a piece of scrap Ada and I'm just zigzagging it. I am literally back and forth, not following any kind of pattern. It's just stitching on the diagonal. Scrap Ada. My intentions is that, like, I've got a little bit of border here, a little bit of border here. I want to fill just this top portion. I want to do the frayed edges, and that's what it's gonna be. So that's gonna be a work for quite some time. I am using pieces that not so much when I'm like finished with that whole color and I won't need it again, but you know, you get a little bit of a length that, you know, when I'm working like this piece and I know that I'm gonna need a whole bunch more floss again, you know, just these little lengths rather than trying to put it back on the bobbin or whatever, I'm just putting into that piece. So that's what I mean by using some like tail ends. And then you can definitely tell when I used like, well, that bold yellow, that last yellow would have been from the buckles on Mario. So things like that. But yeah, that was fun. Alrighty, it's going on 7 o'clock. I need to get some food. I want to sit down and stitch. Yeah, I have no specific plans in terms of stitching or whatever. We're gonna stitch what we want when we want. I've got plans tomorrow with my girlfriend Crystal to sit and craft. Beyond that, I don't know. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully. I imagine I'm going to be needing new glasses, but who knows if this is going to be the last time I will have these. Just because I know it takes a little while for them to come in and everything. So that's all I got. I'm rambled enough. So I hope you are doing well. I hope you're getting lots of stitching in. Yeah. Take care. Keep stitching what brings you joy. Right? How do I keep saying that? Stitch what brings you joy. We'll see you again soon.